the allies of Batman in this film. I thought Gordon was really, really good. Great casting, Jeffrey Wright. It was interesting in the first crime scene, I suppose. There's when Gordon's talking with the forensic person who's on the scene, the light's shining on his face in a way that he's wearing sort of a Batman mask, like a bat-shaped mask on his face, and I thought that was really interesting.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I have to have a rewatch.
Yeah, go back and watch it. And it's a bit like Michelle Pfeiffer's mask in Batman Returns, but it is sort of like that bat shaped, like a shadow being cast over his eyes, which I thought was really cool.
I think Gordon was done really well in this. Obviously, sort of we're used to Commissioner Gordon, but he's a bit lower down the totem pole at the moment. Sort of the actions of the rest of the police in the movie, I think sometimes are a bit sort of puzzling. I don't know, that first scene where Batman's walking down the hallway and he's walking past sort of all the cops sort of lining the hallway. I'm like, surely these people have something better to do than just stand in a hallway and gawk at Batman as he walks past.
I did think that it's a really well attended crime scene for something that apparently doesn't pose like an immediate threat at that point in time, but I don't know. Maybe
I suppose it is the mayor and it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But like, what are they all doing in that hallway? Should they not be like out on the streets keeping the press back or doing something like that? But it's not. Everyone crowd into that hallway.
Well, it is a dramatic
entrance for Batman.
Yeah. I do like how that Officer Martinez really dislikes Batman, but is a big fan of Bruce Wayne. He waves hi to him at the funeral. I thought that was funny. And they, they grow closer as the film goes on, and they have a bit of a camaraderie at the end in Riddler's apartment, which is cool.
Yeah, that is one of the scenes where I thought it could have been done a bit better. And sort of what I thought of is maybe when everyone's in the apartment together and they find the murder weapon again, and he says that's the murder weapon, maybe that's when Officer Martinez says, it's used for laying carpet. And then sort of later when he sees the Riddler and the Riddler's like, oh, you missed something, he sort of goes back to the apartment, and maybe there's some police there he doesn't have to break in. I don't know why I had to do that, but then he sees the tool again and goes, oh, carpet, he missed something that might be under the carpet. And that's when he rips it up, rather than sort of having that weird scene where it's like, oh, it's a carpet tucker. My uncle used to lay carpets. And it's like,
the only reason it seemed to be in there, I guess, to build a relationship between them, but they could have had that dialogue still amongst the crowd. But it was really two scenes when it could have just been one. You're right.
Yeah, well, I mean, still two scenes, because you have the seeing it pre visiting the Joker, but then he could have like, you can imagine there'd still be a couple of forensic people, and Batman comes back and he's like, oh, we've missed something here. Have you found something? And they're like, oh no, we haven't. And then he sort of sees the tucker and goes, oh, the carpet, and rips it up and sees it, something like that. And I think that would just be better than you get the slow scene of him cutting the door evidence tape that's holding it shut, and then this thing, and then Officer Martinez shines the light on him, and then he's, oh, okay, it's Batman, it's okay to be here. It's making it a bit more snappy.
I think if there's a defining trait, maybe not just to Batman, but the film overall, it's that it's methodical, and perhaps too methodical at times. You're right.
Yeah.
What did you think of Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle?
Again, I think that was excellent cast and excellent performance. Again, it's not sort of the full Catwoman, sort of like master jewel thief that sort of has been portrayed in other things. That's sort of like the start of that. And maybe she comes back in a later movie after going away and sort of honing her skills as Catwoman. But no, I thought the chemistry between the two of them was great. Between her and Batman, and yeah, it was very believably played.
She's just so cool, I think, and she brings a cool energy to the film, and it's a completely different energy to anyone else in the film, and it really helps us stand out. And I like how even when she's helping Batman in his mission, she still sticks to her convictions in wanting to find Annika. Even when she's undercover in the 44 Below Club, which is another great scene for her, because she plays Gil Colson like an absolute fiddle, and I love the way that she's like stroking his ego in order to get more information, and the way she does that is perfect, and she does it later with Falcone as well in the final sort of Falcone scene before Batman screws everything up by cutting the power.
That Batman.
Jeez.
Well, just going back to that, sort of, he's in his bat cowl, then he changed back into his drifter outfit to get into the club and cut the power, and then he changes back into it again.
Yeah, that backpack looks deceptively small, because to fit everything in there, it would have to be very roomy.
He might be like one of those you see those talent acts where the person lifts up the sheet and then drops it down, and the girl behind it's changed her outfit and then lifts it up again. He might have something like that.
Yeah, I'm Batman. Yeah, funny stuff. I did think that Selina seemed to go along with agreeing to help Batman a bit quickly in that in the scene in her apartment. I wonder if because there is a longer 4-hour cut of this film that Matt Reeves has stashed away somewhere. So I wonder if in that cut there's a bit more of a pushback from her. Would you watch a 4-hour cut of this film?
I mean, potentially.
Yeah.
I saw a thing, and it was credited to James Cameron. I don't know if he actually said it or not, but he was sort of saying people better not whine and complain that the next Avatar movie's over 3 hours long. Geez, 3 hours long.
Yeah, it is Cameron. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know people that they binge watch something like a series on Netflix or something. They should be happy to watch a 3-hour movie. Oh, gee whiz. You need to make tough decisions and cut it down.
Yeah, well, I mean, the same argument was made when the runtime for Zack Snyder's Justice League was revealed to be 4 hours, which I, of course, loved, because I was going to mop up every minute of that film. But yeah, I mean, we do live in a binge culture, so I mean, it's not, I guess, beyond...
I don't know. I might be alone in my thinking. I think movies need to go back to sort of an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes, and.
Just one final point about the supporting cast. Alfred doesn't really get a lot to do in this film, which is a bit disappointing. But I mean, the scenes that he and Bruce do have are quite good. But I do wonder whether it was scheduling conflicts, because Andy Serkis was directing Venom 2 pretty much at the same time as doing this. So with all the COVID delays in production, I just wonder if they couldn't have him in the film as much as they wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I certainly think Alfred was definitely portrayed well. Good interaction with him and Bruce, and yeah, like you say, I mean, that you could sort of get some semblance of a relationship there, and yeah, I think there could have been more there, but again, maybe that's stuff that was left on the chopping room floor or editing room floor, and sometimes it may, like you say, be scheduling. The one thing I will say is a big Alfred fail is when he's opening the mail and he sees sort of this letter for Bruce Wayne's eyes only in a bloody 3-year-old scribble. I mean, he'd seen all the stuff that he'd brought back, which had this guy's writing on it. He should have not gone, oh, well, this is something I need to open and look at. You're like, well, there's probably a bomb in here. I'll put it down.
And I mean, he committed a federal crime, didn't he? Opening someone else's mail.
Exactly. Lock him up.
This is not a squeaky clean Alfred by any means.
Not at all.
I wonder if the more that the Bruce Wayne persona gets expanded in future films out of necessity, like growth of the character, I wonder if that will lend itself to having more Bruce and Alfred scenes, because like when he's Batman, he's very limited the time he can interact with Alfred, because he'll just be stuck in the cave. But as Bruce, yeah, they could have more of a back and forth. So more Andy Serkis, please and thank you.
Definitely. Yes. Yeah. He's definitely very apathetic when he's with Alfred, and I mean it probably doesn't make, or in this movie it doesn't make for sort of, there's too much of an interesting film. But yeah, like you say, if that relationship develops more on screen, because obviously it means a lot to him, because he was very upset when he got blown up. But yeah, he was just very apathetic when he was around him in this movie. So yeah, that could be a great development for further ones to come.
Yeah. Right. So I've got some more stuff that I want to talk about the film. Do you have time to still hang around for a bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I'll because the meeting ends in a minute, so I'll just have to stop the recording, and I'll just invite you to a new meeting in like a minute or something. Okay. Cool.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
See you soon.